What's up guys, welcome back to Techie Anish, and this is the OG full screen bezel-less iPhone. This is the iPhone 10. The iPhone that you are holding right now is inspired and carried forward design of this iPhone. But now this OG iPhone is 7 years old. So the question is, can you still use this iPhone? It's already lost its software support and will be forever on iOS 16. By the way, I did made a video on using the iPhone 6 Plus in 2022. At that point, that phone was 8 years old while this one is 7 years old. The iPhone 6 Plus was not usable. So let's see if this iPhone can flip the results around. Okay, let me tell you that this iPhone is definitely not in a good shape. The screen is cracked from the top, so the Face ID is slightly affected at some angles. The main camera is damaged due to shock and the phone is so scratched and scuffed up from all the sides. So yes, the idea of using stainless steel is not a good idea, and Apple realized that with the iPhone 15 Pro and switched to titanium. The back of this iPhone is shiny and glossy unlike today's iPhones, so you do need to clean it up often. But you can just slap a case on this iPhone and everything is back to normal. It's totally usable, and I use this iPhone without a case all the time and had no problems with it. So the materials have held up really well even after all this beating up of this iPhone. Okay, so the real question is, it does work from outside, but does it really work from inside? How many apps are still supported? How is the performance? Does the camera still hold up? And how is the battery life? Let's find out everything here. So as I said, it runs iOS 16, so you don't get the latest software features, but it's still receiving security updates, which is nice. It just received iOS 16.7.8 security patch, so the device is very secure. Most of the apps that I use on a daily basis on my main device still works fine except for Google Pay. So if you are heavily dependent on making UPI payments via Google Pay, you are out of luck, because Google Pay for some reason requires iOS 17. But there are always alternatives. You can use PhonePe. It works perfectly fine. You can make UPI payments from the iPhone 10, and it's overall just a better app and a better user experience. So the entire setup and apps that I use on my 13 Pro works exactly the same way on this iPhone 10, which is absolutely amazing. But after all this usage of your daily apps, does the battery life keep up with you? The answer is yes, it does keep up with my type of usage, which includes a lot of casual gaming like PvZ2, watching a lot of YouTube videos, using WhatsApp and Instagram, and a few other apps as well on a few occasions. And every time I got a screen on time of somewhere between 3.5 to 4 hours, which is actually my daily usage. At the end of the day, the battery is almost dead, so I charge it at night and use it for the entire day without any issues. Let me tell you that the battery health of this iPhone is just 74%, so it's pretty low. So if I change the battery on my iPhone, I will get way better battery life. But that will cost me 800 rupees here in India. At that price, I can buy a new budget Android phone that can run the latest software. So I'm probably not gonna change the battery on this iPhone, but the battery life that I got here was pretty decent. Let's look at the display now. As I told you, it's slightly cracked from the top, but luckily nothing on the front of this iPhone. It's still rock solid. Even after 7 years, the display is very relevant, guys. It's a slightly smaller 5.8 inches 60Hz 1080p OLED, but so are the latest non-Pro iPhone 15s. Sure, they all have the dynamic islands now, but that does not really make any difference. It's still kind of a notch at the top, and Apple still sells the iPhone 13, 14 and the SE, which all have a notch. It's not as bright as today's iPhones, but that's completely fine. It's the modern look of the iPhone. It's OLED, so dinky blacks, high contrast, everything's good here. Now what about the cameras? Guys, the main camera on this iPhone is damaged due to shock, so it keeps shooting these blurry pictures all the time. So can't really test out the main camera, but I do have some samples of the 2x telephoto lens, which appears to be working fine. This is the weaker lens out of the two, so it's not gonna impress you in any ways, but it's quite usable and the pictures are decently good, at least in bright sunlight. So expect the main lens to be twice as better than this. When it comes to indoor shots, the telephoto lens just struggles to gather the light or focus, and overall very average looking pictures. So I would not get my hopes high on this one. The selfie camera is decent enough and usable for Instagram or Snapchat. So if you are someone like me who rarely opens the camera on the phone, then this is not gonna affect you as much. But if you are serious about photography, then this is not the right thing for you. We have so many advancements in the camera department in these 7 years. Now we have ultra-wide cameras, computational photography, ProRAW pictures, ProRes videos, action mode, cinematic mode. None of them are available on this iPhone. So if you're someone like me, we can give it a pass, but these cameras are definitely not for everyone. Now the most important thing guys is the performance. The iPhone 6 Plus failed in this regards 2 years ago, but the iPhone 10, well, it didn't fail. Look, with the aging A11 Bionic and just 3GB of RAM, it's not gonna be a red hot super fast phone, but it's not as bad as you think. The big apps like the games does reload 50% of the times, but the lighter apps like YouTube or WhatsApp, they do stay in the memory for longer periods of time, which actually provides a very usable experience. You will see reloads after a certain time, but it's still fine, and the reload of the apps are generally fast. It does not take 5 seconds to open the app again like the 6 Plus, it's normally less than half that time. So it's definitely far from being unusable. And lastly, it's a phone guys, so it should be able to make and receive calls, which it definitely can. It's a 4G phone, not a 5G phone, so if you really need 5G, you will have to upgrade. But the 4G speeds on this phone are really fast and the call quality is crystal clear. So yes, I'm not gonna recommend you to buy the iPhone 10 today, but if you do still have one and you plan to use it for a couple more years, you definitely can. I will not say you should upgrade it immediately, but as for me, I am a power user and I like to use all the latest features that's available and the maximum performance that's available to me. So I'll be switching back to my 13 Pro very soon. But yes, with the iPhone 6 Plus, I was done just within a week. But this iPhone 10, I used it for 2 full weeks. So definitely a way better overall experience than the iPhone 6 Plus. And the thing that I love most about this iPhone is definitely its lightweight and compact form factor. This is the Pro iPhone of 2017, and if you compare it with today's Pro iPhones like my iPhone 13 Pro, it weighs 204 grams, while this iPhone 10 just weighs 174 grams, which is 30 grams lighter than my iPhone. Yes, with the 15 Pro, they have brought the weight down to 187 grams, but this iPhone 10 is definitely in its league of its own. At 5.8 inches, it's so comfortable to use with one hand, and with these rounded edges, the back gestures feel really natural and smooth. I think Apple should definitely keep this size in their iPhone lineup for all those people who love compact smartphones. It's not as small as the mini phone, it's a good size and it's a Pro phone. So Apple can call this the iPhone Pro. Then we can have a Pro Plus at 6.1 or 6.2 inches, and then of course we can have the Pro Max at 6.7 and 6.8 inches. It's something that they should definitely think of because not everybody likes carrying big and bulky phones. People like me will definitely appreciate these lightweight phones in their pockets. So yeah, that's been it. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you really enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you very soon.